Hello students, welcome. In this lecture, we are going to study about some CBSE pattern questions and the chapter is application of derivatives as we were doing. So, I hope you remember all the topics of application of derivatives which we are going to cover in this particular lecture. So, those were if I recap you, approximation was one topic, increasing decreasing function was another topic, maxima minima was also a topic. You also found dy by dx as a rate measurer, it was also a topic, and these were mainly the topics which we are dealing with. So, these topics, based on these topics, we will deal with some questions. So, there will be 10 questions of different marks. First question, let us start, of 1 mark. It says, using differentials, find the approximate value of the following. So, 17 by 81 to the power 1 by 4. We can first write this simply equal to 17 to the power 1 by 4 divided by 81 to the power 1 by 4, we know it is 3. So, our task is to find 17 to the power 1 by 4 by the help of approximation. So, which number near to this 17 is there whose fourth root is easily available? That is 16. 16th fourth root is 2. So, we will suppose that there is a function xi is the value 4 and xf is the value, xi is the value 16 and xf is the value 17. Now, the delta x will become 17 minus 16, that will be 1, final x minus initial x. What is the function that we have to take y? That y is basically x to the power 1 by 4. I am taking this function x to the power 1 by 4. Now, when we differentiate this y, what do we get? Dy by dx is equal to 1 by 4 x to the power minus 3 by 4. And if we talk about the point 16, dy by dx at the point 16, which we can say that xi. So, at xi is equal to 16, what will be this value? 16 to the power minus 3 by 4, which will become fourth root is 2, 2 to the power minus 3 is 1 by 8. So, this will become 1 by 32 after calculation. So, at xi is equal to 16, the derivative of y is 1 by 32. The final value which it has reached is 17. So, delta x is 1. We are assuming that this 1 is relatively smaller than this number 16. So, we can do the approximation, and what we will do? We will write that delta y is equal to dy by dx into delta x. This is the basic theorem of approximation. If we see delta y, this is final y, that is 17 to the power 1 by 4 minus initial y, that is 16 to the power 1 by 4 is equal to dy by dx, which we got that at xi it is 1 by 32. What about delta x? Delta x is 1 and 16 to the power 1 by 4 is 2. So, we can write that this 17 to the power 1 by 4 is equal to 2 plus 1 by 32. Now, we know that when we divide 1 point, again 0, it will 3 times, then 1 and so on. So, we will approximately say 2.031 is the approximate value of 14th root of 17. So, what will be our answer? Our answer will be 17th root of 4, 4th root of 17 is 2.031 upon 3. So, this is the answer for the required question. So, this was a 1 mark question and it was the direct application of approximation. Let us see the second question after this, that is also of 1 mark. First two questions are of 1 mark. So, second question says, find the equation of the normal to curve x square equal to 4y which passes through the point 1 comma 2. So, important point here is to understand the question correctly. So, this x square equal to 4y is a curve which is like this, a upward opening parabola. Even if you do not draw it, it does not matter, you can solve the question, but it is x square equal to 4y. Now, the point 1 comma 2 is not on this parabola, it is somewhere else. Suppose it is here 1 comma 2. So, the normal is passing through 1 comma 2 and it is normal to this curve. That means tangent at this point is perpendicular to normal. We have to find the equation of the normal. So first we will differentiate this. When we will differentiate, dy by dx will become 1 by 4 into 2x, that is x by 2. Now let us suppose this point where we are finding the normal is h comma k. Can we know what is the relation between hk? Yes, because hk lies on this parabola, we can say h square is equal to 4k, which means k can be replaced as h square upon 4 wherever we need it. hk we have taken, so k is equal to h square by 4. Let us keep it this for future use. Now when we take this normal will have a slope which is minus 1 by slope of the tangent, and tangent slope is x by 2. So minus 1 by x by 2, that is minus 2 by x. And what is x? X is h. So minus 2 by h. This is the slope of the normal. Do we have another method also to find slope of the normal? Yes. Since these are the 2 points, by coordinate geometry concept of a straight line, we also know that slope of normal can be written as y2 minus y1, that is k minus 2, upon x2 minus x1, that is h minus 1. And now you can use this k is equal to h square by 4 and put it here. So this will become h square by 4 minus 2 by h minus 1. This slope of normal and the slope of normal which we have obtained by the concept of derivative is same, because it is the same normal. So what we will do? We will equate both of them. We will equate h square, and let us take LCM. This will become minus 8. This 4 will go in the denominator. This will become 4 times h minus 1 is equal to minus 2 by h. Now our task is to solve this equation and find the value of h. When we will cross multiply h cube minus 8h, here also we will cross multiply, we will get minus 8h, and this will become plus 8. So this 8h will cancel and h cube is equal to 8, which means h is equal to 2. That means the abscissa of this point is 2, and if abscissa is 2, we know that y is equal to x square by 4, so it will become 1, 2 comma 1. So 2 comma 1 is the point where the normal is passing through 1 comma 2, and we have to find the equation of the normal. So now equation of the normal is y minus k, which is 1, is equal to its slope. Now slope is this one, this both is the slope. So when you put h equal to 2, this will come out to be minus 1. You can put h equal to 2 here also, this will also be minus 1. So this is minus 1, x minus x1, that is h, which is 2. So we can say x plus y minus 3 equal to 0 is the equation of the normal. Okay students, so this was a lengthy question, and it is of 1 mark here because it involves basic concepts which we need. Third question is of 4 marks, third to fourth. So show that the function given by fx is equal to log x by x has maximum at x equal to e. So if you see here, this function has maximum at x equal to e. This is our task to prove. First of all, for maximum or minimum, what we do, we differentiate the function. So we will differentiate this function, and this function is log x by x, as you can see here. So when you will differentiate it, you will get x square, x into derivative of log x is 1 by x, minus log x, and derivative of x is 1. So 1 minus log x by x square. Since log x is involved, its domain is 0 to infinity, where 0 is not included. Then only log is defined. So for this derivative to have critical point, this can be 0 or undefined. We can't take undefined as x is not 0 possible. So we take it equal to 0. In that case, log x will be equal to 1, or we can say x is equal to e. Now we know x equal to e is a critical point. Now what we have to do, we have to find that whether this critical point is maxima or not. That is what we have to prove. So we will take the value left of e. This is e, values left of e. If we take any value left of e, suppose we take 1, a closer value. So 1 when we put here in this, log of 1 will be 0, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So this term will become positive. And we take a value right of e, suppose e square, log of e square is 2, 1 minus 2 is minus 1, so this term will be negative. So this is negative. So when you cross e, the derivative crosses from positive to negative. What it means? That earlier the graph is having positive slope, later the graph is having negative slope. So the point E is actually the point of maxima. So we have proved that log x by x has maximum at x is equal to E, that is by the first derivative test. We can also use second derivative test, it depends upon us. Now next question, the two equal sides of an isosceles triangle with fixed base B are decreasing at the rate of 3 centimeter per second. How fast is the area decreasing when the two equal sides are equal to the base? So there is an isosceles triangle given to us, and this isosceles triangle has this base B which is fixed, but its two equal sides don't have the fixed length, they are varying. So if this length is x, this length is also x. Right now this is the isosceles triangle. It may be possible that sometime later the isosceles triangle is this one, sometime later the isosceles triangle is this one. So actually this length of these two sides are decreasing. What is the rate at which these two sides are decreasing? 3 centimeter per second. So how can we write it mathematically? We will say that dx by dt is actually minus 3. Minus is used here so that we can show that this is actually decreasing, not increasing. If it is increasing, dx by dt will be plus. So dx by dt is minus 3 centimeter per second. This is the rate at which the length of this side is decreasing as well as this side is decreasing, both is equal length. Now you have to find what is the rate at which the area is decreasing. So if we want to find the area of a isosceles triangle, how do we find it? What we do, half into base into height. Base is fixed b, so half b, and what is height? So at any moment if we want to find the height, this length is b by 2 and this is x. So this height is, by the help of Pythagoras theorem we can find, that is root over x square minus b by 2 whole square, that is hypotenuse square minus base square is perpendicular square. So this is the height, this is the area. Now let us differentiate area with respect to this variable x, which is the length of this side. When we will differentiate, just see here, this is the area. So half b is a constant, it will come outside. We will differentiate this, what we will get? 1 by 2 root over x square minus b square by 4, and further by chain rule we will differentiate internal value, that will become 2x. So this comes out to be 2 cancel, bx by 2 times of root over x square minus b square by 4. Okay students, into dx by dt, of course, because x is also, we have differentiated area with respect to x, but we have to differentiate area with respect to time. Area is decreasing with time obviously, so we will differentiate it with time, then there will be a differentiation of x with time also by parametric form. So there is dx by dt here. Now it is said that you have to find the rate of decrease of area when this x is actually equal to the base length b. It is saying when the two equal sides are equal to the base, that is x equal to b. So when we put x is equal to b, b into b by 2 times of root over b square minus b square by 4, and dx by dt is constant, that is minus 3, which is given in question. So this will come out to be b square minus 3b square divided by 2, and this 2 will cancel after taking LCM and out of the root. This will become root 3b. So b will cancel, and this is finally minus root 3b, which is the answer. So we are getting area negative also, rate of change of area, because area is also decreasing. If the side length is decreasing, the area of the triangle will also decrease. So dA by dt is minus root 3b, obviously centimeter square per second. Now let us move on to the fifth question. So let us see what is there for us in the fifth question. Fifth question says, a tank with rectangular base and rectangular sides open at the top is to be constructed so that its depth is 2 meter and volume is 8 meter cube. So the tank is actually cuboidal tank. Okay. So it has a rectangular base and its height is also perpendicular to the base. So cuboidal tank, and it is given that its height is 2 meter, or we say depth is 2 meter, and the volume of the tank is 8 meter cube. If building of tank costs rupees 70 per square meter for the base, so in order to build the base of the tank, rupees 70 per square meter has to be spent, and rupees 45 per square meter for sides. How many sides are there for the open tank? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 sides and 1 base. What is the cost of least expensive tank? So first let us find out what we have been given and what we can get from there. This is the tank, and this tank is a cuboidal tank, something like this. In this cuboidal tank, this length is suppose x, this breadth we don't know, we know the height which is 2 meter, that is the depth. The volume is given 8 meter cube, and volume is always equal to length into breadth into height of the tank, of cuboidal tank. Length is x, breadth we don't know, height is 2, this is 8. So can we say that bx is equal to 8, or we can say the breadth is equal to 8 by x. So we can write it as 8 by x. Now we have all the dimensions of the sides, x, 8 by x and 2. So here only the variable x is the variable which is varying. Depending upon x, this will also vary, but this height is constant. Now they are saying that in order for the least cost, what should be the dimension of the basically what is the cost of least expensive tank. So the cost is asked, that means first we have to find out what should be the dimension of the tank so that the cost is least. So if we take about the base, base has an area 8 by x, it is actually we took 2 into x into breadth is equal to 8. So breadth is equal to 4 by x, it is not 8 by x, sorry my mistake, it is 4 by 8. Then only if you will multiply this and with this, x will cancel and the product will give you 8 meter cube. So let us find out the area of this base. Area of this base is actually 4 into 4 x into 4 by x, that is 4 meter square. Okay, this is a constant. So cost here for the base, since we know the cost for the base is rupees 70 per square meter, so rupees 70 into 4 is equal to rupees 280. This is a fixed cost. Whatever the change you will do in the length, there will be change in the breadth, and since the product of both will be independent of x, it will always be 4. So the cost is fixed for the base. For the sides, let us see what will be the cost. So this side, this is x, this height is 2x, and this side it is 4 by x into 2, back side again 2x, and this side, left side, is again 4 by x into 2. So this is the total area of the 4 side, 1 side, 2 side, 3 side, 4 side. Length into height plus breadth into height plus length into height plus breadth into height. We will multiply it with the cost, that is 45 rupees for per square meter. So when you will calculate it, 2x plus 2x is 4x, 4x into 45 is 180x. This is 8 by x plus 8 by x, that is 16 by x, that is 16 into 45, and you will do what you will get 45 into 16, 6 5 30, 3 27, 45, 0 12, 720. So 720 upon x. This is the cost of the side. So after knowing the cost of the base and the cost of the side, the total cost will be, which is C, 280 plus 180x plus 720 by x. Now when you know that this cost depends upon x. What should be this x, which is the length of the rectangular base, so that we have the minimum cost. So minimum cost will differentiate it with this variable x. This will become 0, this will become 180, this will become minus 720 by x square. So when we will equate this term equal to 0, of course this cannot become undefined because x cannot be 0, length of the base cannot be 0. So you can take only it equal to 0 for the point, critical point. So 180 is equal to 1720 by x square, which means x square is equal to 4, or length of the base is 2. So if you take length of the base as 2 meters, and obviously in that case breadth will also be 4 by 2, that is 2 meters, you will get the minimum cost, okay, the minimum cost which you will find. So cost minimum is 280 plus 180 into 2, 360, plus 720 by 2, that is also 360. So total cost is 720 after adding this, and then adding 280, that is 1000. So with 1000 rupees, that will be the minimum cost to build a tank of volume 8 meter cube and height 2 meter, where the rate is given as 90 rupees and 45 rupees, 70 rupees and 45 rupees for the base and for the sides. Let us move on to the next question. In this question, students, they are asking about the absolute maximum and minimum value. Function is cos square x plus sin x, where x is between 0 to pi, both are included. For absolute, what we do? We find the critical points, we find the value at critical points as well as the end points, and see the maximum and minimum value. That's it. So let us differentiate this fx. So when we will differentiate this, f dash x will be 2 cos x into minus sin x, plus sin x will differentiate to give you cos x. We will equate it to 0 as it cannot be undefined. In that case, cos x is common, 1 minus 2 sin x is equal to 0. This will give you either cos x is equal to 0 or sin x is equal to half. Now when do we get cos x 0? When x is equal to pi by 2, 90 degree. And when we take sin x is equal to half, in 0 to pi, that is at pi by 6 and 5 pi by 6, in first quadrant also and in second quadrant also. So x could be pi by 2 from here and pi by 6 and 5 pi by 6 from here. 30 degree and 150 degree are the two angles where sine give you half, between 0 to 180 degree. So let us find the value of this function, where we will start from 0, f of 0. And what was the function? Cos square x plus sin x. So function is cos square x plus sin x. When we will put 0 here, we will get 1. Next let us put pi by 6, next number. When we will put pi by 6, this will become cos square pi by 6, that is 3 by 4, and this will become 1 by 2. So 3 by 4 plus 1 by 2 is 5 by 4. Let us take f of pi by 2 next. This number, this we have already taken. So cos pi by 2 is 0, sin pi by 2 1. So again 1. F of next is 5 pi by 6. So 5 pi by 6 will also give you the same value as pi by 6, as there is a cos square. So negative will become positive. So this is also 5 by 4. Function at pi, the end point, right end point. So at pi, cos square pi is obviously minus 1 square is 1 and sin pi is 0, 1. So out of all the values which we have obtained, which is the maximum value? 5 by 4. Which is the minimum value? 1. So we can say that the maximum value is actually 5 by 4 and the minimum value is 1. So this function will lie between 1 and 5 by 4. 5 by 4 means 1.25. So this is how we solve maxima and minima for absolute maxima and minima. Let us come to the next question. Next question, 7th one. A cylindrical tank of radius 10 meter is being filled with wheat. We all eat wheat, we know what is wheat. At the rate of 314 cubic meter per hour. Okay, this is the rate at which the wheat is being filled in that cylindrical tank. Find the rate of increase in depth of the wheat. So it is rate dy by dx as a rate measurer. So we know that volume of a cylindrical tank is actually, this is radius and this is height, pi r square h. Now what is given to us? The radius is given, it is 10. So volume is 100 pi h. And they are saying that the rate at which wheat is filled is 314 cubic meter per hour. So dV by dt is given 314 meter cube per hour. Now you have to find the rate at which the height is increasing. So this is a very simple question here. What we will do? We will differentiate this relation with respect to time. So dV by dt is 100 pi dH by dt. Now dV by dt is given 314. We'll put 314 here. This is 100 pi dH by dt. So what will be dH by dt? 314 by 100 is 3.14 upon pi, and approximate value of pi is also 3.14. So this will cancel and we will get 1. 1 meter per hour is the rate at which the height of the cylindrical tank will get filled with wheat. Okay, students? So this was a straightforward question. Not much of calculation is involved here. Let us see the next question. 8th one. The line y is equal to mx plus 1 is a tangent to the curve y square is equal to 4x. Then find the value of m. Y square is equal to 4x is a graph. To understand it more clearly, though you can solve it without drawing the graph, y square is equal to 4x is the right opening parabola whose vertex is at origin. The line y is equal to mx plus 1 is a tangent to the curve. So this plus 1 is the y intercept where the line is intersecting the y axis. So the graph would be something like this. It will go something like this. It will touch this graph, y square is equal to 4x. So this is a rough diagram which I have drawn here. Now you have to find the value of m of that tangent. What we will do? We will differentiate this. Y square is equal to 4x. When we will differentiate it, 2y dy by dx is equal to 4. In that case, dy by dx will be equal to 2 by y. Now the slope of the tangent at that particular point where we are finding the tangent to the curve, let us suppose that point on this curve is t. So if we take x as t, y will become 2t, because this is a parametric form. When you will put x t square, let us take 4t square, that under root of 4t square is 2t. So we can assume that the point on y square is equal to 4x is of the form t square comma 2t. This we call as parametric form in parabola as we study in coordinate geometry. But we don't have to think so much about that. Simply here we have taken x as t square. So y square has become 4t square. So y has become 2t. So we don't want to take x and y separately and use this equation. We are taking here using the relation between them and finding the abscissa and ordinate in terms of only one variable, that is t. So at this point p, which is t square comma 2t, y is actually 2t. So slope of the tangent is 1 by t. Now if you remember, this is y is equal to mx plus 1. Now you can find the equation of the tangent. What is the equation of the tangent? Since this tangent is passing through t square comma 2t, you can use like this: y minus 2t is equal to x minus 2t square, t square comma 2t, and the slope here is given by 1 by t. So you can say y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. This implies ty minus 2t square is equal to x minus t square, which will give you ty is equal to x plus t square. Or you can also write it y is equal to x into 1 by t plus t. So this is the equation of the required tangent. But what it is given? It is given as y is equal to mx plus 1. So if both the tangents are same, then this t is replaced by 1. So t is equal to 1. Then this m, which is actually 1 by t, that will become 1 by 1, that is also 1. So we find out by comparing the equation of the tangents. One tangent is given to us, another tangent we have found out by using the derivative concept and slope of the derivative. Next, ninth question is a 6 marks question. A point on the hypotenuse of a triangle is at a distance A and B. Let me first erase this. A point on the hypotenuse of a triangle is at distance A and B from the sides of the triangle. Show that the minimum length of the hypotenuse is this. So, if we see, this is a right angle triangle, right students? In this right angle triangle, can we, without loss of generality, suppose that this base is the x-axis and this perpendicular is the y-axis? We can do that. Now, this x-axis hypotenuse is intersecting at alpha comma 0 and y-axis as 0 comma beta. It is saying that the point on the hypotenuse is somewhere which is at a distance A and B from the sides of the triangle. So, if it is at a distance of A from here, its x coordinate is A, and if it is at a distance of B from here, its y coordinate is B. So, on this line A comma B is a point which is lying. We have to find out that the minimum length of the hypotenuse, this is the length of the hypotenuse. So, minimum length of the hypotenuse is given by this. So, length of the hypotenuse as we see here is root over alpha square plus beta square. That is Pythagoras theorem or the distance formula between these 2 points. Now, what else we can do? We can find relations between these points. Since this is a line and its slope is same, so the slope found by using these two will be beta minus 0 by 0 minus alpha. This is the slope. And if we use these two, we will get b minus 0 upon a minus alpha. So, this is 0. Now, from here we can say that this beta is equal to minus b alpha upon a minus alpha. Let us take this minus here, and this is alpha minus a. So, beta can be expressed like this, which means that one variable is expressed in terms of another variable alpha. A and b are given constants in the question. So, what we will do now, the length of the hypotenuse, which is root over alpha square plus beta square, can be written as root over alpha square and then beta square is b square alpha square upon alpha minus a whole square. So, let us simplify this length of the hypotenuse. This is alpha outside root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square. We have to find the minimum value of this L length. So, we will differentiate this L with the variable alpha. So, when we will differentiate it, we will get alpha, and differentiation of this 2 times root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square, and further differentiating this, we will get by chain rule b square minus 2 alpha minus a whole cube. So, we have differentiated this keeping this as constant. So, by product rule, next time we will differentiate alpha, which is 1, and keep this as a constant. So, we are using the simple rules of differentiation. Now, let us take this root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square as LCM. 2 is cancelling here. So, this will become minus alpha b square, and this is alpha minus a whole cube. This will become plus, this will multiply with this 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square, as root will cancel, divided by root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square. So, we are simplifying. We have multiplied this with this after taking LCM. This is written like this. This is in the LCM. This term is written here. So, dl by d alpha is this. There is a little calculation here. So, not any more calculation. This is it. So, we are approaching the answer. If you observe, this is the denominator, and we can't take dl by d alpha as undefined, because in that case alpha has to be a, which is not possible, because then the triangle will not be possible. So, only possibility is that this can become equal to 0. We can't take alpha is equal to a. So, this can become 0. That means this will go there and it will become 0. What will remain here? We will find after taking alpha minus a whole cube as the LCM again, you will find this is 1 minus alpha b square into alpha minus a plus alpha minus a whole cube and then plus b square. This term is equal to 0. So let us find out alpha. This will become minus alpha square b square plus ab square alpha. This will become alpha cube and this will become minus a cube. Okay, and this will become alpha cube minus a cube minus 3 alpha square a plus 3 alpha a square plus b square. So we have to find alpha here. I think there is some calculation mistake we have done. Otherwise, this would don't be have coming like this. There is alpha cube coming here. Let us see what we have done here. Let us recap quickly. dl by d alpha which we are doing, which is actually differentiation of root over alpha square plus beta square with respect to alpha, as you remember. And we also found out that the relation between beta and alpha, that was actually b by minus a is equal to beta the point was b a comma b. So b minus 0 by a minus alpha, right? So minus b by a was the one way of finding the slope. If you remember, this was the line. This is 0 comma b. This is a comma 0, alpha comma 0, 0 comma beta. This is a comma b. So here when we found out, let us do the calculation, no problem. Sometimes calculation drive us crazy, so don't worry. This point we took as alpha comma 0, this point is 0 comma beta, a comma b is on this hypotenuse, and then we said that this slope is beta by minus alpha is equal to b by a minus alpha, which we wrote as beta is equal to b alpha by alpha minus a. So this was beta in terms of alpha. Length was root over alpha square plus beta square. So alpha square plus b square alpha square upon alpha minus a whole square. So this is what we did. Then we differentiated it. So we'll differentiate it fast here because we don't have to go into much of the calculation. We take this alpha square outside. So this will become alpha here. First term is alpha. We'll differentiate this 1 by 2 root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square, and differentiation of this is into b square minus 2 alpha minus a whole cube. Okay, students. Plus we will differentiate alpha and keep it as it is, root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square. Okay. Let us this 2 is cancelling. Let us multiply this with this. This will come as the LCM, root over 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square, and this will become minus b square alpha by alpha minus a whole cube. When this is multiplied with this, this will become 1 plus b square by alpha minus a whole square. We did one thing, we equated it to 0. This went there and this became 0. In the next step, we have to simplify it. So what we take, this is 0, alpha minus a whole cube as the LCM. So this will become minus b square alpha plus alpha minus a whole cube plus b square into alpha minus a is equal to 0. Okay. So till here it is fine, and this will also go here, it will become 0. So this will become minus b square alpha, and also here b square alpha minus b square a plus alpha minus a whole cube is equal to 0. So this will cancel. What will happen? Alpha minus a whole cube is equal to ab square. So what we can say, alpha minus a is equal to a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3. So alpha is equal to a plus a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3. Okay, students. So we got this value of alpha. Okay, no problem. We might have been doing the correct way earlier also. No issues. No extra problem in doing some extra calculation. So this is alpha. If you remember beta, you can find beta by the formula as it was minus beta by alpha is equal to alpha upon alpha minus a. That is what we had, alpha upon a comma b, alpha comma 0, b upon alpha minus b upon a minus alpha, sorry. So this was, and what we wrote there as that this beta is equal to b alpha by alpha minus a, right. So from here we have got alpha. Now let us find beta. Beta will be b alpha. So b alpha upon alpha minus a, that can be written as b upon alpha, take it here, 1 minus a by alpha. Divide this alpha by a, so this will become b by 1 minus a by alpha. So this will become, here let us see, beta is equal to b upon 1 minus a by alpha. So a will be here and alpha will be here like this, a plus a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3. So what will happen to this beta? When you will calculate it, you will find this goes upside, a plus a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3, divided by, you will take LCM, a will cancel, a to the power 1 by 3, a to the power 1 by 3 into b to the power 2 by 3. Next what we will do? We will divide by this term. So when you divide by this term, this b to the power 2 by 3 and b will become b to the power 1 by 3 here. And this a when we will divide, a to the power 2 by 3, and here we will divide plus b to the power 2 by 3. So this is what we are getting here. So if you remember, earlier value which we were getting for alpha was a plus, it was a plus a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3. That was the value of alpha which I just erased. So this is alpha and this is beta. Now let us find the length of the hypotenuse. Length of the hypotenuse is root over alpha square plus beta square. So this will become root over, when we will do alpha square, let us take a outside, a to the power 1 by 3. This will become a to the power 2 by 3 plus b to the power 2 by 3. So square of this plus square of this. This term is common in both of them. So let us take it common, a to the power 2 by 3 plus b to the power 2 by 3 whole square. The square of this is b to the power 2 by 3 and square of this is a to the power 2 by 3. So finally we find out that this is equal to a to the power 2 by 3 plus b to the power 2 by 3 to the power 2, and here it is to the power 1. So can we say a to the power 2 by 3 plus 2 by 3 to the power 3, and under root of that can be written like this. So this is the final length of the hypotenuse when it is minimum. And does this answer match with our answer in the question? Yes, it does match. It is a lengthy question, 6 marks question, but it was too lengthy. So there was lot of calculation. Not all such questions come in the exam, but you should practice. You should practice as more complex questions as possible. Now let us come to the last question, that is the 10th question. It is saying, show that the height of the cylinder of greatest volume which can be inscribed in a right circular cone of height h. So there is a right circular cone of height h. So its height is given h. We have to inscribe a right circular cone. So there is a right circular cone which is inscribed here. This is a cylinder and this is the cone. Semi-vertical angle is also given, that is alpha. Alpha is the semi-vertical angle of this cone. Let me draw it here to be more clear. This is the height, this is semi-vertical angle, this is h, this is the cylinder which is inscribed in this. Now we have to show that in order to find the greatest volume of cylinder, what should be the height of the cylinder? That is, they are saying 1/3. That means this height of the cylinder h dash should be equal to 1/3 of the height of the cone, this we have to prove. This is to prove if cylinder is having maximum volume. Right, students? So let us see the volume of the cylinder. Volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. This is the radius of the cylinder r, pi r square, and h is the height of the cylinder, which is h dash here. So pi r square h dash. Now this r and this r is same. This is also r. In this triangle, this particular height is actually h minus h dash. H is the total height, h dash is the cylinder height. So this is h minus h dash. If we apply trigonometry here in a right angle triangle, what we will say that this r by h minus h dash is equal to tan alpha. Tan alpha is perpendicular by base. So this r can be written as pi tan square alpha into h minus h dash whole square into h dash. So what we have done here, we have expressed this unknown quantity in terms of another unknown quantity h dash by using this relation. So this r is replaced in terms of h dash. Alpha is already given, it is a constant. H is given, it is a constant. So if we want to find the maximum volume, what we have to do here now? We have to simply differentiate this v with respect to h dash. When we will differentiate it with respect to h dash, pi tan square alpha is outside. Let us take this as the first term, h minus h dash whole square. Differentiation of this is 1 plus, let us take this as the constant, and differentiation of this is twice of h minus h dash into minus 1. This is what we are getting, product rule. Now let us equate this equal to 0 for critical point. Pi tan square alpha will vanish. This is h minus h dash whole square. This is minus 2 h dash into h minus h dash, that is equal to 0. H minus h dash is taken as common, so it becomes h minus h dash here minus 2 h dash here is equal to 0. What do you get here? Since h minus h dash cannot be 0, height of the cone and cylinder cannot be equal obviously. So this is not possible, this is 0, which means h minus 3h dash equal to 0, which means h dash is equal to 1 by 3 of h. This is what we had to prove. So this is the first part of the question, that height of the cone is 1/3, or height of the cylinder is 1/3 of the height of the cone. After getting this, find the volume. The maximum volume is pi tan square alpha h minus h dash. So h minus 1 by 3h whole square, this will be 1 by 3h. We get pi tan square alpha, this will become 2h by 3. On squaring, 4h square by 9 into h by 3. So this will become 4 pi tan square alpha h cube by 27. This is the maximum volume cylinder which can be inscribed in the cone. So the answer 4 by 27 pi h cube tan square alpha is correct. So this is all for this lecture, students.